Ladies and gentlemen, motorsport family, gather round for what promises to be an absolutely electrifying race at Silverstone. Now, let me tell you about our friend Daniel Bourne. Oh boy, has he caused a stir in the pre-race paddock. After his relegation to rookies, he's convinced himself he's found racing's holy grail with what he's calling the born-again quantum setup package. Between you and me, folks, it's just a single click adjustment on the rear wing. But Bourne's been parading around like he's discovered anti-gravity. I haven't seen someone this excited about a wing since my pet parrot escaped last summer. And we're off! 23 cars thunder into turn 1, with Ant Presley leading the charge as moisture glistens off the tarmac. Oh no! Don Dex has spun at turn 1, dropping back through the field. Chaos unfolds as Kakase and Camgrid tangle, the wet conditions making Bourne's revolutionary setup look increasingly questionable. Bourne's quantum setup shows promise. Scratch that thought! Garrow immediately snatches the position back from our setup scientist. Bourne sliding backward now as Dini makes his move. That quantum setup looking rather classical. Bourne fights back against Dini. And Dini's through again. This battle is more volatile than my last attempt at cooking. Bourne capitalizes on Gamenook's spin. That's the kind of opportunistic driving we love. Bonnier, showing fantastic awareness, swoops past the struggling Gamenook while Bourne's quantum theory continues evolving up ahead. Bourne overtakes Maraska! On the radio, how's that quantum setup working for you now? Taunts Maraska. Bourne responds, just wait until these quantum particles align perfectly. You'll see! Dramatic scenes at Brooklands as Polsinella and Polishin come together in spectacular fashion. Bourne's ambitious dive bomb goes terribly wrong. His quantum calculations clearly didn't account for basic racing physics. Spinning! Bourne's on the radio. We need to adjust the quantum flux capacitor settings. Add 3 clicks of negative camber. It'll create a temporal vortex through turn 3. His engineer sounds genuinely concerned. Don Guillermo makes a beautiful move on Dini. Clean and precise racing. Dini reclaims his position from Guillermo. You know, this reminds me of my quantum physics professor. Always said everything exists in multiple states until observed. Bourne goes 3 wide. My goodness, he's treating this like a quantum superposition experiment. Oh my word! Bourne runs wide at Chapel, and I've got the inside scoop! His team radio reveals he was trying to implement his quantum corner entry theory, apparently believing he could exist in multiple racing lines simultaneously. His engineer is frantically explaining that Schrodinger's cat wasn't meant to be a racing strategy. The moisture on track and his experimental setup are creating a perfect storm of unpredictability. Holy differential equations, Batman! The laws of physics are being rewritten faster than Bourne's engineer can say. That's not how quantum mechanics works! We're watching the birth of either motorsport's greatest genius or its most entertaining madman. If Schrodinger was commentating this race, he'd need a lie down. Sony capitalizes on Deck X's misfortune. Bourne overtakes Dex. The radio explodes. Dex, what kind of quantum nonsense was that? Bourne, you just don't understand the multi-dimensional approach to racing. I'm operating on a different plane of existence. Dex, yeah, the plane of delusion. Bourne. My quantum setup is revolutionizing motorsport as we speak. Engineer cuts in. Daniel, please just focus on driving. Bourne, that's exactly what Einstein said to Bohr. And look who won that debate. This is absolutely fascinating, folks. We're witnessing either genius or madness. Great googly moogly. We're watching the birth of a whole new racing dimension. My poor brain can't handle this level of quantum tomfoolery. These drivers are treating physics like a suggestion rather than a law, and Bourne's out there making Einstein spin faster than his own wheels. Absolute madness! The track's evolution is fascinating, folks. As the surface dries, Bourne's quantum setup might actually start making sense. Or maybe I've just been listening to his theories too long. The grip levels are increasing dramatically. Looking at our field, AFD Giuliantonio has made remarkable progress from P13 to P2. Meanwhile, Presley's dropped to P3 after starting on pole. The midfield battle is absolutely electric. Holy Higgs boson, the quantum field is destabilizing. Bourne charges past Garcia, his quantum setup seemingly finding grip where others can't. Extraordinary. Bourne's diving inside Guillermo at Brooklands. The quantum theory in action. Guillermo retaliates. A brutal response to Bourne's aggression. Bourne somehow emerges ahead. The quantum setup prevails. Gamanuk follows through past Guillermo. You know, folks, watching this reminds me of my quantum mechanics textbook, Complete Chaos, that somehow makes perfect sense if you don't think about it too hard. Merciful mechanics! The quantum realm has possessed our racetrack! Bourne's either discovered the secret to interdimensional racing, or he's having the most scientifically justified mental breakdown in motorsport history! Pulcinella overtakes Gamanuk! Meanwhile, Bourne's quantum setup saga takes an interesting turn. Other drivers are actually starting to wonder if he's stumbled onto something. The track's getting drier, and suddenly those strange setup choices are looking less laughable. But Bourne's still muttering about quantum grip zones on the radio. By all that's holy in Heisenberg, the track surface is evolving faster than Darwin's finches. Bourne struggling with grip, and here's why. His quantum setup assumed the track would be in a superposition of wet and dry. Instead, he's got a car that's perfectly set up for conditions that don't exist. His engineer is desperately trying to explain basic meteorology. Great galloping quantum quarks! Bourne's either channeling the spirit of Niels Bohr, or he's finally cracked the space-time continuum. The engineers in the paddock are torn between taking notes and calling for professional help. This is revolutionary chaos! Bourne muscles past Garrow, the quantum setup strikes again. Bourne claims another position from Zoni, his confidence growing with each lap, though his radio chatter about quantum mechanics hasn't slowed. Sweet jumping Jupiter on a pogo stick. The quantum chaos is reaching critical mass. Pure racing anarchy unfolds. Someone call NASA. Bourne runs wide with Zoni in hot pursuit. The radio erupts. Zoni, what's wrong with you? This isn't quantum physics. Bourne, actually, it is quantum physics. The car exists in all racing lines until observed. Zoni, the only thing quantum about your driving is the massive gap between your talent and your ego. Bourne, you're just jealous of my revolutionary approach. Engineer, please, Daniel, can we focus on racing? Bourne, I am focusing on multiple timelines simultaneously. Zoni, the only timeline you should focus on is the one where you learn to drive properly. The paddock philosopher strikes again. Last bosuns and burning rubber! The quantum apocalypse is upon us! Bourne's out there treating racing lines like string theory! Multiple dimensions of pure chaotic brilliance! The engineers are having collective existential crises! I haven't seen this much scientific confusion since someone tried to explain TikTok to Stephen Hawking. Pure, unadulterated genius or madness. Who can tell anymore? Gamanuk overtakes Garrow. Meanwhile, Bourne's quantum theory is gaining unexpected credibility as the track conditions continue to evolve. Who would have thought? Quantum catastrophe in full effect. The track temperature's inverse relationship with Bourne's setup choices is creating a paradigm shift in racing theory. Commentator's stellar drive from pole hasn't gone unnoticed, while Bourne's quantum adventures continue in P15. Merciful multiverse. The quantum chaos is creating unprecedented grip. Drama at the front as Carpe and Signorina find themselves in the gravel. Bourne's quantum chaos spreading, physics imploding spectacularly. Zoni makes a brilliant move on Carpe. Speaking of quantum mechanics, this race is certainly demonstrating Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. We can't predict position and momentum. Blessed be the racing gods! These development curves are more twisted than a quantum pretzel. The telemetry graphs are starting to resemble abstract art. Pure mathematical mayhem. Bourne's overtake on Signorina marks a turning point. The quantum setup is actually working as the track dries. His one-click wing adjustment somehow providing perfect balance. The paddock is buzzing with confusion and reluctant admiration. Bourne's on the radio. See? The quantum alignment is perfect! His engineer sounding defeated. Just keep driving. Other teams are frantically analyzing his telemetry. The mad scientist might just have stumbled onto something revolutionary through sheer luck. Sweet celestial mechanics! The paddock's collective IQ is being challenged as Bourne's setup proves its worth. The data analysts are having nervous breakdowns. The numbers don't lie, but they're speaking in tongues. Engineers worldwide are frantically rewriting textbooks while Bourne cackles through Sector 2. This is either the dawn of quantum racing or the most elaborate practical joke in motorsport history. Bourne's finally found some clean air. His quantum theory might be nonsense, but his pace is undeniable. Holy Heisenberg's ghost, the uncertainty principle is manifesting in pure speed. Bonnier slides past Gamanuk. Meanwhile, Bourne's quantum setup continues to raise eyebrows in the paddock as conditions improve. Quantum madness reaches new heights. The telemetry screens are... Bourne's ambitious move on Passetti goes wrong. The quantum setup showing its limitations. Physics-defying brilliance in motion. Bourne somehow makes it stick against Passetti. Simply extraordinary driving. Oh no! Bourne's quantum experiment goes terribly wrong as he turns in on Passetti. Catastrophic quantum collision sends shockwaves everywhere! Bourne rejoins after his quantum miscalculation, losing precious positions. Benham and Kekase tangle spectacularly. This race is providing more drama than a quantum physics conference. Great googly moogly! The racing line's relationship with reality is becoming increasingly theoretical. These drivers are redefining the possible with every lap. Pure chaos! Signorinha makes a fantastic move on Gaminuk, the midfield battle intensifying with every lap. Sweet, merciful momentum. The grip levels are fluctuating like quantum particles in a super collider. Gaminuk reclaims position from Signorinha. Radio chatter explodes. Gaminuk, what kind of racing line was that? Signorinha, maybe I'm using Bourne's quantum approach. Gaminuk, please don't encourage him. Bourne chimes in. I heard that. The quantum revolution cannot be stopped. Engineer. Daniel! This is a different channel! How did you even... The paddock physicist strikes again! Les Bernoulli's ghost! The aerodynamic implications are sending shivers through the paddock. Bourne's single-click adjustment is rewriting everything we thought we knew about downforce. Revolutionary developments. Bourne's frantic radio message, quick, adjust the quantum flow regulators. We need more probability waves in Sector 2. His poor engineer responds, Daniel, that's not a thing. Quantum physics and racing passion collide. The traditional setup theory lies in shambles as Bourne's madness proves method. Mercedes' technical director just fainted. Welcome back, motorsport family! While we were away, the track dried completely, and Bourne's bizarre setup choices are starting to make more and more sense. What a shuffle in positions! Presley maintaining that lead brilliantly, while Bourne's quantum adventure continues in P11. The midfield battles are absolutely sensational. Bourne overtakes Benham! The quantum setup is proving its worth! The paddock is in absolute chaos! Multiple team engineers are now frantically studying Bourne's telemetry. His one-click wing adjustment is somehow providing perfect balance in these conditions. Bourne's radio message! The quantum alignment has reached its final form! The racing world might never be the same! Sweet suffering scientists! Bourne's either stumbled onto genius, or he's the most convincing snake oil salesman since P.T. Barnum. Even a broken quantum clock is right twice a day, and today might just be his day. The paddock's collective skepticism is reaching critical mass. Bourne claims another position from Davies, his quantum setup performing miracles as he climbs through the field. Blessed bandwidth! His radio frequency is more crowded than Schrodinger's box. The man's got an explanation for everything except why he can't stay on the racing line. Pure quantum-flavored chaos! Polsinella passes Benham! Radio explodes! Did you see that move? Benham shouts. Polsinella responds. Maybe I'm using Bourne's quantum racing line. Bourne cuts in. My methods are not for amateurs. Engineer, how does he keep accessing these channels? Heavens to Heisenberg! Bourne's quantum quackery is either the greatest racing breakthrough since downforce or the most elaborate practical joke in motorsport. The engineers are torn between studying his telemetry and checking his car for pixie dust. Meanwhile, he's preaching quantum theory like a street corner prophet with a physics degree. Unprecedented confusion. bar, Bourne smoothly navigates past the back marker. His confidence is through the roof. He's even started explaining quantum entanglement to his engineer between corners. The look of sheer determination in his driving suggests he's fully embraced his role as motorsport's mad scientist. Like science said, quoi que ça tient, tout c'est science. A great galloping gravitons! Bourne's turned this race into a physics lecture nobody asked for! His engineer deserves hazard pay for enduring these quantum declarations. Yet somehow, the mad professor's making it work. The paddock's collective sanity hangs by a thread while Bourne quantum leaps through the field. Bourne attacks and passes Zoni, the quantum prophecy fulfilled! Zoni strikes back immediately, Bourne's quantum calculations temporarily disrupted. Quantum catastrophe reaches new heights, pure chaos! Oh, Bourne reclaims the position, the quantum setup proving its worth. Sweet suffering superconductors, another theoretical breakthrough. Di Giuliantonio and Gaminuk come together, Bourne's chaos spreading through the field. Physics cries in quantum agony. Pulcinella capitalizes on Di Giuliantonio's misfortune. Meanwhile, Bourne's quantum setup has become the talk of the paddock. I've just heard 3 different team principals asking their engineers to analyze his telemetry data. Who would have thought one click of rear wing adjustment could cause such a stir? Oh, merciful momentum! Bourne's either the luckiest fraud in racing or a misunderstood genius. His engineers developing a nervous tic while the rest of the paddock oscillates between mockery and marvel. The data makes sense, but his explanations belong in a sci-fi novel. Pure theoretical mayhem! Looking at these positions, Bourne's rise from P19 to P7 is nothing short of remarkable. His quantum setup, which we all laughed at initially, might be the biggest innovation since sliced bread. Presley's dominant lead and Duma's consistent pace are impressive, but Bourne's climb through the field is the story of the day. By the laws of thermodynamics, Bourne's managed to confuse every engineer in the paddock while accidentally revolutionizing racing. His explanations sound like a physics textbook had a head-on collision with a fortune cookie, yet here we are watching him ascend through the field. Bonnier makes a stellar move on Pulcinella. Radio chatter. Bonnier, how's that for quantum racing? Pulcinella, not you too. Bourne interrupts. There can only be one quantum master. Engineer, seriously, how does he keep accessing these channels? Zoni finds himself facing the wrong way. Bourne's quantum chaos claiming another victim. Sarni. Disaster strikes the quantum realm again. Bonnier shows fantastic pace to overtake Pulcinella. The battle intensifies. Sweet mercy. The madman Gaminuk makes a beautiful move on Kakate. The racing getting better with every lap. Blessed Bernoulli. The track evolution perfectly matches his nonsense theories. Even a broken quantum clock tells the right time. His engineers developed a permanent eye twitch while Bourne preaches multi-dimensional racing theory. Bourne's quantum setup working wonders as he dispatches Kakase. The paddock philosopher's unconventional approach continues to yield remarkable results. A holy Higgs boson. Bourne's turned this race into a quantum mechanics dissertation nobody asked for. His engineers contemplating a career change while the paddock can't decide if they're witnessing genius or madness. The telemetry makes sense, but his explanations sound like sci-fi fan fiction. Unprecedented confusion in the pit lane. Welcome back, racing family! Bourne's quantum revolution continues to reshape our understanding of setup theory with every passing lap. What a race we're witnessing, folks! Bourne's journey from mockery to potential genius has been absolutely extraordinary. Starting P19 with his quantum setup, he's now running P6. His one-click wing adjustment has teams scrambling to understand how it works. Presley's lead is commanding! But the real story is Bourne's rise through the field. Gaminuk, his closest rival, has matched his progress, turning this into a battle of conventional wisdom versus quantum physics. The paddock will be talking about this one for weeks. Presley takes the win. His radio message is pure joy. That's how we do it, team. Absolute perfection today. The garage erupts in celebration, champagne corks flying. Even Bourne interrupts their channel to congratulate them. Quantum mechanics played a role in your victory. Engineer, someone please change our radio encryption. Sweet suffering scientists, Bourne's quantum crusade ends in triumph, or at least fewer disasters than expected. His engineer deserves a Nobel Prize in patience. From paddock joke to potential genius, he's either revolutionized racing or created the most elaborate practical joke in motorsport history! Oh, and Bourne brings it home in P6. From quantum theorist to racing revolutionary, what a journey. Thank you for joining us for this absolutely extraordinary race. Motorsport family, Bourne's setup might just change racing forever, or at least our understanding of quantum mechanics. See you next time for more racing action.